If you're a fan of the New York Jets and you live, work, or play with someone who isn't a fan of the New York Jets, there's a good chance that at some point over the past week they hit you with the NFL comedy gold one-liner. At least the Jets can't lose this week because it's the bye. I'm Glenn Naughton, Jet Nation Radio, JetNation.com. Thanks so much for checking us out here. Be sure to check us out at JetNation.com, where you can log on to our forums and join the most active Jets message board on the web. So no, the Jets didn't play, Jets didn't lose, but the Jets did a lot of winning. In that a lot of the teams, or all of the teams really, that they would have liked to see lose this weekend, lost. Some division rivals and some teams whose draft picks the Jets own. So we'll start off with the games that are less meaningful. The Miami Dolphins drop a 23-20 decision to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags hit a couple of 50-plus yard field goals in the closing minutes, including one as time expires, to give themselves the win over the Dolphins. Jets fans have some idea what this is like if you think back to losing to the Cleveland Browns when they hadn't won a game since the 60s. Thank you, Todd Bowles. After that, you have, of course, the Carolina Panthers, or actually staying in the division, the New England Patriots lose to the Dallas Cowboys in overtime. Now, that one, obviously that's New England losing to a much better opponent than Miami did, and playing really well. You see what they're doing with Mac Jones. Bill Belichick following the same blueprint he did when he had Tom Brady, and he and Charlie Weiss brought Brady along slowly. Lots of dinking and dunking. He's going to average a few yards per completion. Just let the guy get his feet wet, let him get better, and hope he grows into a franchise quarterback. So Pats lose, you like that. Pats putting up big points, you don't love that. But the more important games, of course, Seattle Seahawks drop a decision, as well as the Carolina Panthers. Jets own draft picks from both those teams from the trades of Sam Darnold and Jamal Adams. Seattle's first, of course, is the big one that everybody wants to talk about, so let's talk about it. Geno Smith under center, former Jet, fumbles away the game late. Geno, did what Geno does. Made a couple plays, made a couple throws. You look and go, oh, maybe it's coming together for him. And then a big mistake, back-breaking mistake at the end, kills you. TJ Watt forces a fumble. Seattle loses the ball game. And the cherry on top on this one is that Seattle, with the lead in the closing minutes, and I tweeted out before the game, maybe a bit facetious, is this Jamal Adams' opportunity? Is this his moment? Is this the day that we see Jamal Adams get his first ever NFL interception against the starting quarterback? A lot of fans may not realize that. Jamal's in year 4 or 5? He's got 2 career picks. One came against Jarrett Stidham in mop-up duty against the Pats, and the other came against the Lions when Matt Castle had come on in relief of Matthew Stafford. So Jamal Adams still seeking that first elusive pick against a starter, and Ben Roethlisberger drills him in the face mask in the closing minutes. An interception seals the game for Seattle. Instead, the ball hits Jamal Adams in the face, bounces off his face mask, through his hands, falls to the ground, incomplete pass. Seattle goes on to lose the football game. Thank you, Jamal Adams. In Carolina, Sam Darnold starts the game with an interception. His first attempt, had plenty time. Much like that his rookie year when he threw a pick six on his first ever attempt. This one wasn't quite as bad a play call. Everybody was covered, but instead of throwing it away, Darnold makes the rookie mistake, forces a throw, gets intercepted. Robbie Anderson in this game, 4 big drops. And Carolina as a whole, I believe, had 6. So Sam's numbers weren't great, and Sam made some bad plays, but man, did he not get any help. I think I saw a number that was the Panthers, the most drops they've had in a game in a decade or something like that, whatever it may be. But in the end, Carolina loses, helps the Jets draft position. That's huge with the second round, with the picks they got for Sam. Seattle loses. That's big. Jets currently have 2 top 10 picks, 6 and 10 with their own, and Seahawks, let's be real here. The Seahawks, when Russell Wilson comes back, they're going to win some games. That'll knock them out of the top 10. The Jets, on the other hand, while a lot of people are leaving them for dead, let's not forget, Mekhi Becton will be back soon, in a few weeks. When Becton is back, and if you look at the way Elijah Vera Tucker is playing, they're going to steamroll some people on the left side, and they're going to be able to run the football and run it well. And if Zach Wilson takes a 1 or 2 baby steps, and this defense keeps playing the way they are, which is at a pretty high level, you could see the Jets kind of winning, 4 or 5 games in the second half of this season. So that would, that potentially knock them out of the top 10. But just have to wait and see how things unfold. All we know right now for sure is that this was a great weekend for the Jets and their fans. Jamal and Geno drop a game, and fans say to me, why are you taking pleasure in former Jets playing a big role in helping these teams lose? Don't you have anything better to root for? No. Haven't we established this is the bye week? I'm rooting against these teams, and nothing would make me feel better than to see them lose because of a guy who either trashed the organization, not just on the way out the door, but like for a good few months before he was traded, acting like a petulant child in Jamal Adams. And then, of course, Geno Smith, a guy who didn't have the best tenure here. Now, time heals all wounds. I think most of us have moved on from the Geno thing. But at the same time, you don't want to see him go out and throw 6 touchdowns because then, as the Darnold narrative dies, then you got to hear the other pundits, onlookers, experts, whatever you want to call them. Oh, the Jets should have hung on to this guy. They should not. I'm tired of hearing that, and I know all Jets fans are tired of hearing that. So all of a sudden, by the way, the Sam Darnold MVP talk that's gotten pretty quiet, hasn't it? After that 3-0 start, they've lost a bunch in a row. So as I said, Carolina loses, Seattle loses. Miami loses. New England loses. Jets move up in terms of draft stock, and it looks like the Dolphins may not be as far ahead of the Jets as many anticipated, as they're sitting there with 1 win, much like our beloved New York Jets. So that'll do it for me now this week. Thanks so much for checking us out. Be sure to tune into Jet Nation Radio this week with myself, Alex Varallo, Dylan Terraman, and we are not 100% sure if it's a full show, being that it's a bye week, might be a short show previewing the New England game, something along those lines. But we'll be there. Check us out, and we will catch you next time. Thanks a lot, Jets fans.